Hey guys, today on People Now, the king of the box office triumphs over the weekend.
She comes into this family and there's like, what is she doing? How is she manipulating things?
Former Bone star Emily Deschanel tells us what she's excited about for her character in Animal Kingdom Season 4.
That Big Little Lies finale sent fans into a big frenzy. We're gonna break it all down, spoiler-free.
Kate Gosselin tells us about mixed feelings as she preps to send 2 of her girls to college.
Plus,
Miss Wheelchair USA 2019 is Brittany Hawley, Miss North Carolina.
it's Miss Wheelchair USA 2019. We'll tell you about the amazing young woman who won the crown.
It's all live today on People Now. Let's go.
Ooh, here we go. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to People
woo.
Now. Good to see you. Hope you had a great weekend and stayed cool in this heat wave. I mean, it was hot in New York.
It wasn't as bad as you
Felt
would
like
think.
107
I was out in the park. You just gotta hunker down and do it.
I was in
you
a
know?
pool. I guess that helps, but I was still feeling. I was complaining the whole time. Proudly complained. The hashtag text like the 90s is trending today. Since we seem to be in the age of reboots, we are throwing it back to a few of our favorite 90s television shows that are set to make a comeback.
Yes.
Very exciting stuff.
So we want to know, what's your favorite 90s show? Is it Beverly Hills 90210, Animaniacs, Mad About You, or Daria? Vote in our People poll or tweet us your answer with the hashtag PeopleNow.
I can't hear the word Animaniacs without thinking of the song.
Is that your favorite?
Animaniacs. I don't know. I just immediately I'll be singing that song all day, the theme song.
I need to do a refresher because I actually have not seen Animaniacs. I was just a little baby in the 90s, so.
We're going to check in on the results of the poll in a little bit, but for now, here's what you need to know and what's trending today. We've got a lot to get to today. Let's jump in with this. Watch.
You must take your place in the circle of life.
Yeah, you hear the roar there. That was the Lion King roaring to the top of the U.S. box office this weekend, hauling in an impressive $185 million. That's according to early estimates.
The Disney remake opened to some mixed reviews, but that didn't stop it from setting a box office record for the month of July and becoming the biggest domestic launch ever for a PG-rated film.
Yeah, really big deal here. Disney's photorealistic remake of its beloved 1994 animated movie beat expectations as it was projected to make between $150 million to $175 million. Official box office numbers are expected later on Monday, today.
The movie, which features an A-list voiceover cast from Beyonce to Donald Glover, has already hit theaters elsewhere around the globe, and its worldwide total is expected to climb to well over $500 million.
Unbelievable. The Lion King follows the success of other Disney reboots with both Dumbo and Aladdin, wowing audiences, at least paying off in the box office. We didn't love Dumbo.
I wasn't the biggest Dumbo
Compared
fan.
to the others.
Yeah, but I have high hopes for Lion King. And if there was any doubt that 2019 was Disney's year, Avengers Endgame just cemented it because, get this, it's projected to become the highest grossing film in history.
Yeah, projected to cross the $2.79 billion mark worldwide, which narrowly beats out Avatar's $2.789 billion record it held for a decade. With Endgame still in theaters, though, the movie has a shot of stretching its lead even further. Really impressive. All right, watch this.
Our new Miss Wheelchair USA 2019 is Brittany Hawley, Miss North Carolina.
Woo, there you have it, the big moment. Brittany Hawley is the new Miss Wheelchair USA. If you didn't know Miss Wheelchair USA was a thing, it is. I didn't really know either until recently. I was invited to join the judges panel this year. We're going to talk more about that in a little bit.
Yeah, so let's talk about Brittany Hawley. She is an incredible young woman. Things to know about her. Before winning the national title, she was Miss Wheelchair North Carolina USA. She recently completed her Master of Occupational Therapy, wants to pursue her doctorate. Her service dog's name is Griffin.
Adorable dog.
I know. Now she has complex regional pain syndrome, also known as CRPS, which causes pain signals to be sent to her brain constantly. Brittany also has fixed dystonia, which causes involuntary muscle contraction.
Yeah, usually CRPS sets in after an injury heals, but for Brittany, there was no injury. She just woke up one morning in 2010 with excruciating pain, and her whole life changed after that. She's such a dynamic person, so much strength. I talked to her right after she was crowned Miss Wheelchair USA, finding out how she felt when her name was read.
I feel like everybody deserved it, so it was very shocking to hear my name called.
Should we talk about Griffin, your dog? He is over it, 100%.
Yes, we are tired.
Griffin's had a
been
long
week.
Griffin, is there something? He doesn't respond. I know you're not even supposed to do that. You've given me permission to ask the dog for a pet. Is there something I can say to him that'll help me?
Griffin, look.
Griffin's done. He's done. That's it. What are people most surprised to learn about your story? When you tell it, what's the feedback you get from people?
So my condition is a little bit different. I have RSD, reflex sympathetic dystrophy, also known as complex regional pain syndrome. So most people looking at me don't realize I'm most of the time 9 to 10 out of 10 pain on an average basis. Most people don't look at me and can see that my clothes are hurting me or the wind's hurting me. But that doesn't stop who I am, and my pain is driving me to be who I want to be and show others that don't let the pain stop you, don't let the fear stop you.
Where's that crown going? Other than when obviously you're going to wear it every day, but when it's not on your head, where are you keeping it?
On the shelf.
On the shelf? Okay.
Yes,
the mantle in the living room in front of everyone else?
It's going to look like the picture.
I'm so happy for her.
She's really sweet. She's from North Carolina. She's got the little
Yeah,
accent there, gonna look like the
little
picture.
twang.
Brittany Hawley is a really dynamic person. Earlier in the weekend, Brittany told me about a period of time in her life where she dealt with suicidal thoughts, and she actually told me that her dog Griffin, who we were seeing there, was a major part of pulling her out of that really dark place. She's the first national winner to use a service dog during the competition. Congratulations again to Brittany.
And the mission of Miss Wheelchair USA is to promote self-confidence, community service, and achievements of women with disabilities. To find out more, check out MissWheelchairUSA.org. That must have been such a great experience.
It was a
Jeremy.
great experience. There were 8 finalists. All these women were so dynamic. I didn't really know what to expect, and they all had such incredible stories. They're doing great work in advocacy, pushing for change for the people in their community, and just incredible. So
Was
I
it
encourage you guys to
difficult
check
to
it out.
choose a winner? I imagine.
Oh, judging that was impossible. I told all of them, as many of them as I could. It was, and all the judges agreed. It was like they're all on this baseline of excellence.
Mm-hmm.
They're achieving so much, and they've overcome so much. So the differentiation in judging was so hard.
Yeah.
But man,
She's a great winner, though.
She's a great winner, and they're all really incredible. So check out that website for more information. All right, let's move on to this. Big Little Lies season 2 has come to an end, and we have so many questions. Don't worry, we are not giving away spoilers today.
Thank goodness.
To give you all some time to catch up if you missed.
So after the show ended, Nicole Kidman shared this picture with the cast on our Instagram and wrote a touching tribute, writing in part, "What a journey to have been on. Thank you to all of you for watching and everything you have given this show and more."
She also thanked the fans and everyone who was involved in the show. Meanwhile, Reese Witherspoon shared this pic before the last episode aired and also thanked all the fans, saying that they are the reason the show is everything it can be.
She also teased some big surprises, and we finally got to see those big surprises. They were pretty huge, also left viewers a little divided.
Yeah, one user tweeting, quote, "Nicole Kidman versus Meryl Streep in the hashtag Big Little Lies finale is my Super Bowl."
While another user showing frustration at how the show ended, tweeting in part, "How could you end the season like this? I'm dead, need more."
So will we get more of Big Little Lies? While nothing has been confirmed yet, Nicole Kidman recently told News Corp Australia that she would love to continue working on the show. She said, quote, "There's so much more to come."
However, before you get your hopes up, the president of HBO has gone on the record earlier this year telling TV Line that season 3 is, quote, not realistic. But people said that about season 2.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
So I think it's going to happen.
I do too. Fingers crossed. All right, we're celebrating a very royal birthday today. Prince George officially turning 6 on Monday, and his parents, Prince William and Kate Middleton, celebrating by releasing a few new portraits of the birthday boy.
Yeah, the adorable portraits were taken by proud mom Kate in the garden of their home at Kensington Palace. In 2 of the photos, George wears the official England national soccer team jersey. Another photo showed George in a different outfit, a green polo and striped shorts.
The images are the latest addition to the Cambridge family's special album of memories. William and Kate have issued various portraits of their children over the years as sort of thank you for the public's well wishes.
But these images were more intimate than George's past official birthday photos. The family often hires professional photographers for the prince's annual snaps. And I love that Kate took these. They definitely feel more intimate and personal. Look at his cute teeth, the missing teeth. I think these are so adorable. Now, Kate studied art history at the University of St. Andrews, has a passion for photography. She regularly shares photos that she's taken of the royal kids, and I think they're just wonderful.
Yeah, George and the family are celebrating in style. They are currently on summer vacation on the private Caribbean island of Mystique.
Yeah,
No
and Aaron
big deal.
Hill was here on Friday saying that this island is private. They're going to get to swim, go to the town for some lunch, and do just a normal activity.
Kind of normal things. And for them, they would need to go to a full private island in order to have any sort of normal experience, right?
Yeah. And the royal kids have already had a really fun summer. On July 10th, we saw George, Charlotte, and Louis letting loose on a play date with their cousin Archie. They were out to watch both William and Harry play polo. We all saw those pictures.
Yeah, we're wishing Prince George the happiest of birthdays.
All right, for our question of the day, we've been asking you to choose your favorite 90s TV show that's getting a reboot. So let's take a look at our People poll.
I think I know what's going to win.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yep.
Oh, wow, by a landslide.
I mean, Beverly Hills 90210 has had so much momentum. It keeps that. People are here for it, and the stars seem to be here for it, too. There's been a lot of talk about it. So.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, keep voting if you'd like to sway that, but guess what? I think we got the winner. For now, though, we move on to this. We've got the ultimate guide to sending your kids off to college this fall. Some of our favorite celebrity parents are sharing their best advice.
Plus, we hear from Emily Deschanel about her upcoming plans to work with her sister Zoe Deschanel. Plus, we're taking a walk down memory lane and talking bones. You don't want to miss it.
Jax enjoys sitting outside with a cup of coffee on any given day. He also enjoys getting dressed up in costumes, and he considers himself a very sharp dresser.
He is a sharp
On
dresser.
point.
Meet Jax, everybody. He's a 10-year-old therapy dog who loves spending his days spreading cheer at the hospital. He's one of the top finalists that have been selected for People Magazine's World's Cutest Rescue Dog Contest, presented by Pedigree.
Pet owners from across the country sent in thousands of pictures of their adorable rescue dogs and shared their heartwarming adoption stories. Now, People has narrowed down that list to some precious pups, but now People needs your help choosing the top 3. Without further ado, here are the finalists.
So first up is 7-year-old Oakley. As a baby, Oakley was found under a shed, but now she's the most outgoing dog on the block.
Love that little curly tail, so adorable. All right, here's 6-year-old Casey. She was rescued from a puppy mill, but has managed to overcome her past and blossom into one sweet, very fluffy,
She's
puffy
a little
pup.
fluffer. Now there's something about Harry. This 2-year-old's eyes are hard to miss. Now Harry's owner instantly fell in love with him because of those human-like eyes. I love when dogs have those kind of eyes.
Then we have 2-year-old Oliver. He was saved from the streets of St. Martin after being hit by a car. Now he's a sweet, playful pup that likes to dig holes and swim and run through the yard with the ball. There you go.
All right, on to Augie. He's also 1-year-old. Some of Augie's favorite activities include fetching frisbees and playing in the snow. Aww.
So adorable. Weighing only 5 pounds, we have Schnelly. Schnelly was saved from an animal hoarder, now resides in a loving home. Look at Schnelly there. I love the tail.
And last but not least, we have 1-year-old Maggie. Now, before she was adopted, she learned her commands at a dog training program in prison. Now she has a home she can call hers.
And surprisingly doesn't open the mouth. Usually the dogs open the mouth out the window, right? Like the wind's blowing in.
Just taking it all in.
Just taking it in.
Yeah.
Polls for the World's Cutest Rescue Dog Contest end August 2nd. After that, the top 3 dogs will move on to the final judging phase, where celebrity judges Katherine Schwarzenegger and Dan from Dan and Shay, along with judges from People and Pedigree, will choose their top pick.
And the winner will be revealed this September on The Today Show with Hoda and Jenna.
All right, guys, President Donald Trump has been facing backlash after tweeting comments telling Representatives Ayanna Pressley, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, and Ilhan Omar to go back to the countries from which they came, after the Congresswoman spoke out against the conditions of border detention facilities.
Trump's tweets attacking the reps have hit home for some People staff members. People Entertainment Project editor Mary Green and staff writer Elaine Aradillas both wrote personal essays about his comments, and they join us now. Welcome. Thank you for being here, ladies.
Elaine, let's start with you. You were born at the Holloman Air Force Base near Albuquerque, New Mexico, grew up in San Antonio, Texas with 2 brothers. You were surrounded by many other Mexican Americans. You didn't at the time anyway feel belonged. Explain that situation and how that all felt to you growing up.
Well, San Antonio is 7th largest city and 60% Mexican American.
Right.
And, you know, the mayor was, and you're surrounded, but where I grew up, that was a predominantly white neighborhood, and I went to white schools. And so you just sort of look around, and when you're young, you want to fit in. And so, you know, we've talked about this, and it's like, I remember asking my mom if I could have blonde hair, you know, and she's like, no. So you just want to look like everyone else,
Sure.
but it became very clear that I was not.
Yeah, Mary, you were adopted from Korea as an infant, taken into a home in Iowa, 5 siblings, Catholic home, and you actually had a staph infection at the time, and you credit moving to America as, you know, helping save you. So what treatments were you able to receive here that you weren't in Korea?
Yes, absolutely. I was so sick, and because I was an orphan, at the time there were thousands of orphans. So I was on, you know, it was public aid. The conditions, especially being an orphan, weren't very good. But when I flew here, I flew to the Midwest, and my parents were able to take me to the Mayo Clinic. So I went from no medical care to the very best in the entire world.
Yeah.
And the doctor actually told my parents that had I stayed in Seoul in South Korea for 2 more weeks, I would not have made it.
Yeah, so when you were both growing up, you experienced people judging you, people saying things like, go back to where you came from, which is why this whole conversation has been sparked. It brings up these old feelings. Talk to me about that, how that made you feel as a child, what it kind of meant to you as you have heard that back in the dialogue again.
Well, the first time I remember it, I was only 5 years old, and I remember being shocked, but I could tell by how angry and how mean the kids were being, and because they were throwing rocks and calling me all kinds of racial slurs, that it was meant to hurt my feelings, and it did. You know, I was 5, and so I remember racing inside and just dissolving into a puddle of tears because it hurt my feelings.
For sure, yeah. And as a parent, I just imagine like how painful that must have been to see, you know, this little 5-year-old that just having to deal with the weight of the world in this way. Elaine, how about for you? What was your experience like?
I mean, I think it is always shocking, but you know, when you're a child, you don't really know what those words mean because you're kind of like I'm from around the corner. Like, what do you mean?
Doesn't fully connect.
Right, and then you go home and you tell your parents because it doesn't feel right. You're embarrassed. You can see the hate when people say it, so you know it's bad. And so then you go home and your parents are, you know, they look at each other, they know what's happening, and they just sort of encourage you, like, don't pay attention to them, you know, but you know that they hurt and they sting, and it's gotten worse as I've gotten older.
Yeah, so when you first saw Trump's tweets about go back to where you came from, what went through your mind, Mary?
Immediately, it just felt like the wind was knocked out of me. And that's because when it happens to you and you're young, you internalize it, and it becomes one of these things that you know can be said at any time. You're incredibly vulnerable to it. So when I read it, it just initially took me back to that place that I felt so many times earlier in my life. And then, of course, I got angry about it.
And how about for you?
It was shocking. Like, you know, I expect it from, you know, uneducated people or people that haven't like been around the world or met different types of people. But when you see it coming from the White House, it's hurtful and shocking, and it just, you go through all the range of emotions.
Yeah,
It brings a lot of horrible memories that you had as a kid too.
What kinds of, I guess, what do you think the lesson is? How do we move forward as a nation in terms of rhetoric? I mean, we've talked about this a lot with other guests that we've had recently. The political rhetoric here from many people is so volatile at this point and so visceral and angry and hurtful. How do you think we move forward, and how is this a lesson?
Well, I think in a way it does reflect both sides, that we're so busy screaming at each other that in a way to say go back, it's that we don't even want to listen to each other anymore. And I think one of the reasons that we were talking about that we wrote what we wrote was to simply encourage dialogue, that you know, we're all Americans, and hopefully instead of shouting at each other, to simply hear each other's pain and grievance and move forward.
Well, I think to your point, and you kind of hit on this a bit, that the president has said that he was reacting to what he viewed as bad things that the congresswoman had said. What ends up happening in this kind of vitriolic dialogue is the messages get lost, right? Like what we're angry about in whichever direction kind of just gets very muddy.
Yeah, I think your stories are very powerful. For other people out there that are going through similar things, similar bullying, facing similar situations, what are your words of encouragement for them?
My suggestion, I mean, this, you know, my mom would say, hold your head up high. And so when people are mean, like, I just want people to be kind. And I think, like, if someone is being mean to you, I mean, it's sort of, you go back to elementary school. You just ignore them. And they're angry for a reason that has nothing to do with you. And so it's going to affect you forever. But you just use that to be better and just be kinder.
Mary, how about for you?
Something very similar in that, yes, acknowledge at how much those words can hurt or the actions can hurt, but you can live through it. I mean, all kinds of people walking throughout the world have experienced things like this. And you'll survive it and come out better.
Yeah. Well, Mary and Elaine, thank you for sharing your stories. It's very brave of you to come out and speak on these things. To read their personal essays, head to people.com or pick up a copy of People. It's on newsstands now.
Kate Gosselin is having mixed feelings about her daughters Maddie and Kara moving away for college. The Kate plus Date star's eldest twin girls are heading off to college this fall, and the mom of 8 is preparing herself for it.
Yeah, she tells People that it is the most stressful thing she's ever faced. Kate revealing that the girls took care of their own application process and she fully trusted them with it. Now she realizes she has to use the same feeling to help her get over her fears when she thinks about how the girls are going to be on their own for the very first time.
And for their part, Kara and Maddie are both so excited about taking this next step. However, for now, they're acting like typical teenagers, kind of pushing their mom's buttons a little bit. Kate reveals the girls think it's hilarious to make her cry at a moment's notice by saying things like, you know, this is the last Christmas we'll spend here while living at home.
It's just cruel.
That is so mean. Also contributing to Kate's stress is the fact that the girls will be going to different schools for the first time.
Huge adjustment, and like Kate Gosselin, lots of celebs are getting their own kids prepared for college. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Lisa Rinna talking from experience when she says moving children out for college never gets easier.
So last year, she and her husband saw their daughter Delilah move to New York City for college. This year, it's Amelia's turn. Rinna told People that the reality has set in, that they're about to be empty nesters. She also reveals the second time around feels equally as difficult, adding that she feels sad but really proud. She tries to focus on the positives here. She says it's going to be like before she had kids, adding at least she and her husband have each other.
She's got a lot going on, so hopefully she can kind of divert the attention a bit. Meanwhile, Kimora Lee Simmons reveals the 3 things that she told her daughters, Ming and Aoki, to stay balanced at college. Number 1, leave your dorm room, socialize, build a support system, adding that you should also explore the town. Number 2,
be careful though.
Be careful exploring the town. Number 2, don't be fooled by Instagram because everybody lives a version of their best self online. That is just a small slice of life. That's a great piece of advice for everyone. Feed both your mind and your body. Try to eat healthy and look after yourself.
Yeah, those are great tips. Actress Julianne Moore has advice for parents sharing 3 things that they should remember. She says, number 1, remember this is normal. It's a phase of life. Number 2, evolution is good. And as kids develop, things change a little bit. And number 3, you prepared yourself for this, adding, if you parented well, you already gave the kids the life skills they needed.
Oh, good advice. Write it down, everybody.
There, yeah.
No matter how much you prepare, though, it is never easy. President Barack Obama wants you to know, guys, it's okay to cry. The president reveals that he was proud that he did not cry in front of Malia, but knows that on the way back, the Secret Service pretended they didn't hear him sniffling.
That's very sweet. Meanwhile, Madonna shared some solid college advice for students when she said on the Today Show in 2015, quote, try to do everything in moderation. Try not to kill all your brain cells, adding, and try to go to class. Good advice.
I'll give you $10,000 to disappear for good.
That's your number, huh? Solve anything with 10 grand? You know, Julia never knew when you were coming, but it always seemed to happen when she was at her lowest.
How about 15?
How much did it take the last time, Smurf? Huh? Did you up it because I was in jail? 20? 30? How much did it take to kill her?
Things are getting intense here. Emily Deschanel joined season 4 of TNT's Animal Kingdom as Angela, a recovering drug addict who just got out of prison. It's a big change for her from her 12-season run on Bones. I sat down with Emily to get the scoop on her new character and so much more. Watch this. Talk about this role. What originally, it comes across your desk, you find out about it. What drew you to it? What'd you love?
Well, I thought it was very different from my character on Bones,
Right.
who was on the other side of the law,
Right.
solving crimes, and very logical scientist, very successful.
And immediately you do
Logical
this. This is
I'm
kind
like,
of who she
she's
was.
kind of robotic in some ways. Maybe that's why I did it.
Yeah.
I loved playing her. I love that character so much. But yeah, so this is a character who literally just gets out of prison. You don't know what she's up to. She's a recovering addict. Her life is a bit of a mess. And she comes into this family and there's like, what is she doing? How is she manipulating things? And it's a show, I enjoyed watching the show, but like everybody's trying to manipulate each other and like has a scheme.
Yeah.
And so it seemed kind of fun to do.
Real life you versus Angela, what's the biggest similarity?
Biggest similarity. I mean, I don't have my life figured out. I don't know. So I do realize though, while doing this that, you know, she's a manipulative character and we think like manipulation, like that's bad. And then as I was doing it, I was like, oh, you know what? I do manipulate things and people, but I think for the greater good.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know, like.
According to me, my motives are completely pure.
But everyone thinks that. So my character, Angela, thinks she's doing things for the greater good, probably.
Okay.
But like, you know, I'll try to like if you tell me something about somebody else and then somebody tells me, and then I will try to like, you know, try to put ideas that might bring those people together
Positive.
and get along better. Yeah,
You're
that's my nature.
uplifting people with your manipulation.
Exactly.
You're not tearing people apart.
I'm an uplifting manipulator.
Good. This season on the show, Ellen Barkin's character Smurf has cancer.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the over/under on her being killed off? Are we feeling like that's... I mean...
Are you trying to like ask me that quick so I'm gonna answer
Yeah, you just
it?
accidentally...
Like, I'm not
She's
gonna
gone.
even realize,
She's gone.
I don't even know what you're asking me. I'm just gonna say what I know.
I guess it's shocking, but at the same time, I feel like no one's safe. You never know what's going to happen on a show like this.
Yeah, which is really kind of fun and interesting. Like, you know,
Unless
I
you're
could be killed. I just
Ellen
got here.
Barkin's
I could be
character.
killed off. I mean, even she. Like,
Yeah.
you know, everyone's fair game in a lot of ways. So that's kind of interesting as a viewer, because a lot of shows you watch and like, well, they're never gonna die, you know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it is a possibility.
What's it like working with Ellen Barkin?
She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's intimidating. So like coming in to work with her, I was very intimidated, and I've always loved her as an actor. She's so tough in this character. She's so kind of scary.
I heard she pranked you on set. Is this a story?
Oh yeah, she did prank me.
What
yeah.
what was the prank?
Maybe a minor prank. Well, she's like super intense, and her character's, you know, she's very serious. You wouldn't think of her as like breaking character. And
Like, hey guys, playing jokes or
yeah,
whatever,
no.
throwing water balloons.
One time we had to follow her out of this gate, and I'm walking behind her, and like she disappears, and I keep following her, not thinking about anything, but like I'm just leaving, and she jumps out at me and says, "Smurf!"
And
Scared me to death.
Okay.
Yeah. I just thought it was very funny that was what she thought, just to say her character's name.
Yeah.
Smurf.
Yeah. And then it's almost like
It doesn't
scary.
have the same ring if
like-
I was like Angela.
Right. It's like,
not
why are you being
no,
weird?
Like, that's just weird.
Let me talk about this. Let's go out a little broader, 10,000-foot flyover. Next big dream for your career. Like, what's on the dream board? Do you do that kind of
I
thing?
just like to do different things. My character was homeless essentially, and I like wore all the same like ratty clothes. I would love to have a part where I get to wear designer clothes, and it's a comedy or something.
Full
I don't
glam, some Devil Wears Prada type thing, where
Yeah,
it's just
Devil
like
Wear-
100%
yeah.
decked out at all times.
Yes.
Would you ever act in the future with your sister Zoe Deschanel?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah. She actually did an episode of Bones. Which
Okay,
she
yeah.
played my cousin, I think, so long ago. Yeah, we talk about doing projects together. We talk about like me even just producing together, doing
Yeah.
things like that. We're gonna do a carpool karaoke. That came out weird. Carpool karaoke.
With James
together.
Corden?
Yeah, well, no, yeah, he's producing.
But the full show, the series
yeah,
now.
Yeah.
Before
my sister's very good at karaoke. She's, you know, a professional singer
Yeah.
too. So,
Does she have a go-to song that you can guarantee she'll do?
oh God, I mean, she sings everything,
Yeah.
and she'll like do all the songs, and you just have to get in
Where you
with
can.
her where you can.
That makes sense. Seems like she's taking a bit of a break, right?
Yeah.
Is any
Yeah.
chance of her coming back soon or having some things that are
Working on
stewing?
some stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what I can talk about.
That's all right.
So I'm not
Yeah.
going to say anything. But
Things
she's
are-
working on things. She's got some pots on the pots on the stove.
And switching gears a little bit, fans love you and David Boreanaz in Bones. Big show, only ended a couple years ago. The likelihood of a reboot, you give me a percentage, because it's the season of, it's this phase we're in, the era of reboots. Everyone wants everything to come back.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's 50-50. I don't know. It really depends on so many factors.
Yeah.
Although David Boreanaz, he always says, I don't look backwards, I look forward. So I don't know if he would do it. I think a lot of people would be. I mean, it depends on what it is.
Oh, of
I'd
course,
be open
right.
to
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah, it could
Right.
happen. I'm just trying to get the cast and for a dinner together, and it's impossible to
Okay.
get people to
All on the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you at
everyone's-
least all on like a text thread? That would help, like group text.
That's a good idea. No, I talk individually with everybody,
Okay.
and they're all great, and I love them, and we're all good friends.
What's one thing we would be surprised to know about David?
David Boreanaz?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
that maybe would surprise fans.
He's a prankster though. Fart
really?
machines were big. on
Wait, what
the
was?
set. Fart machines?
The noise or the
The
smell?
noise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was
Wow.
really big. Yeah.
That's interesting. So,
Remote
like,
control fart machines.
set the little speaker over. Watch this.
Yeah.
You come by, push the button.
So-
there it is.
It made me laugh.
All right, we're taking one last look at our People poll. We've been asking you which 90s TV show set to make a comeback is your favorite.
Beverly Hills
Yeah, no
90210.
one's catching that.
70%. We'll be
right.
watching.
Yeah, we'll be asking you a new question today, tomorrow on People Now, so tune in for that. But for now, we move on to this. Watch.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine?
Whoa.
Yeah, that's Tom.
That's Tom Hanks. He is bringing Mr. Rogers back to life in the new movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. We got our first look when the trailer dropped on Monday. My mind is blown.
Let's just talk about how Tom Hanks apparently was made for this role in every way, like his public persona, nicest guy in the world. Fred Rogers, of course, died in 2003. He was 74 years old. Heartwarming to see Tom Hanks really capturing his essence.
Yes. Now, the story is all based on an article written by journalist Tom Junot. Junot was a jaded magazine reporter who was assigned to write a profile about Rogers, a children's TV show host who we all know and love.
As Fred Rogers did best, he helped Junot overcome his skepticism with his thoughts about empathy, kindness, and decency. They actually formed a close friendship, and it lasted for years before Fred Rogers died.
Now, important to note, the movie's director, Marielle Heller, is adamant that this is not a biopic. She told Entertainment Weekly, it's really not. It's a movie that's largely focused on a reporter and Mr. Rogers' relationship to his life and how the reporter's whole world changes when coming in contact with Fred Rogers.
I love the idea of that, like kind of taking it more like episodes of his life, his impact as in general, rather than
Yeah, then it feels more organic.
Yeah, and I loved the documentary.
Oh, yeah.
And so I will be first in line for this. Let's take one more look at the trailer. Watch.
We are trying to give the world positive ways of dealing with their feelings.
Yeah? Like what?
There are many things you can do. You could play all the lowest keys on a piano at the same time.
You love broken people. Like me.
Sometimes we have to ask for help, and that's okay. I think the best thing we can do is to let people know that each one of them is precious.
Hey, Mr. Rogers.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Please won't you be my neighbor?
That was wonderful.
I'm actually tearing up.
I mean, get the tissues.
Honestly, like so emotional now.
So good.
If you're as excited about this movie as we are, make sure you catch A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood when it hits theaters this Thanksgiving, November 22nd.
In fairness, Andrea cries anytime someone sings on the subway.
Cry on demand too, so.
Coming up tomorrow, yeah, I never trust it. Veronica Mars star Jason Dohring will be here live. We're going to get the scoop on the Hulu reboot that everyone has been talking about.
Plus, Bachelorette alums JoJo Fletcher and Jordan Rogers are turning ordinary homes into dream short-term rentals on their show Cash Pad. They'll be here with their best design tips and maybe a few predictions for this season's Bachelorette finale. Thanks for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing from Bethany Joy Lenz. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hi, I'm Bethany Joy Lenz, and this is one last thing. The last TV show that I binge watched was Dead to Me.
Let's just say that wherever Judy goes, chaos tends to follow.
It's Hold Back the River by James Bay. My last big splurge was yesterday. I passed by Petrosian Caviar and for the first time ever decided I'm gonna go in for a tasting. And I had a glass of champagne and I had a little dish of caviar and I ate the whole damn thing.